You try it first. You try it first.
I'm just kidding.
I was like, oh
It's
no.
so good.
Oh my god, I'm so worried. I was like, what the hell?
It tastes just like honey. Holy crap. It's weird because it tastes like honey, but it's got the texture of jelly, so your brain is like, this is gross, but it's not. Those extra bug parts really make it delish.
Yeah. Listen.
It's just like honey. Tastes just, they're not kidding. They're not like, sometimes you read stuff and you're like, yeah, okay, tastes like honey. My foot, like the marigold, tastes like just weird for a yard. Yard jelly tastes like honey.
Grab a hold of or fall or pull off the counter.
You know how he gets. Save some for the bees. Cut off their butts, the plants, not the bees. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the homestead. Today we're doing something freaking awesome, and what we're doing is making dandelion jelly or syrup. I haven't decided yet. So the first thing that you want to do, it's very simple, is go out and collect dandelions. Now you want the ones that are fully open, and you just want the flower head. You don't want the stem. And I've sort of spread them out here to sort of get some of the bugs out, you know, the protein. And what we're going to do is take our scissors, cut this green part off. If you leave this green part on for the steeping process, it will be bitter. There's some milk-like substance in there. You get a little bit of the green, that's all right. You just don't want the main bulk here, so you're just gonna snip it off. So now you've got your petals. Put them in a bucket and repeat. This is a good job for kids or husbands. They're annoying you if you trust them with scissors. So of course you want to make sure that you're picking the wild dandelions. Save some for the bees. Don't pick them on a roadside where your dog goes to the bathroom. It's a very fiddly task, but it's worth it. When you hold them, you'll be able to feel where the bulk of it is. Just get the bulk of that out. It's not going to hurt you if there's some of that green in there, but it will make it a little bitter. Nobody likes bitter jelly. Nobody likes bitter yard jelly. The bigger they are, the easier they are. Of course, I'm doing this on the gale force wind day. So there are dandelion body parts going everywhere. And as you're going, your hands will turn yellow, making it look like you've been eating Cheetos all day. Dirty yard Cheetos. You don't want to eat everything that comes out of your yard, folks. Especially those of you with dogs. Okay, so an hour and 10 minutes later, when you have other things to be doing, like planting your garden and sitting here listening to the pump short cycle, and listening to the birds laugh at you, wondering what the heck you're doing, you will end up with something like this. Beautiful, fluffy yard debris. Now, as you'll see, there is some of the green in there, but this is not the green that's the bitter. It's just a little bit in there. The part that's the bitter we cut off tediously. How did you manage to escape? This part right here should have been cut off. You're fired. Now, oh, jeez. That is beautiful, actually. Grade A wild dandelions. I don't know if we're gonna make jelly or syrup. We'll figure it out. The next step is to make a tea. We are going to steep this. Well, the next step is to pick up my cup that went flying. Here it is. Yeah, during one of the, oh good, it didn't spill, Yeti. The next step is deciding whether I'm going to do syrup or jelly. And yeah, we're going to bring these in. We're going to steep them. And I'll show you that process as well. We're going to rinse them briefly, but we're not going to wash them or soak them in water like I did my tea, the tea that we were drinking. That was to get the bugs out. For the jelly, the bugs, as you saw, I laid it out on the ground, and by the time I got around to them, there were no bugs left. So if I did wash this and rinse it, all of that goodness, that pollen and sunshine and goodness, would just go right down the drain. So there's really no point in that. There may be a bug or two, but you know what? I don't know when the last time you checked your canned food that you buy at the grocery store, but they allow certain things through the... we're not going to get into that.
Hi guys, welcome back to the homestead. Today we are going to be making something super fun, something that is pretty inexpensive to do, delicious, and you can get it right in your backyard. All right, here we go. So this right here, little jar of deliciousness, is something that Rochelle got the other day. Rochelle, tell them what it is.
Yard waste.
Not waste.
It's dandelion tea.
And how did you get this?
I picked dandelions.
Lots of dandelions.
Lots of dandelions.
And what's the important thing about picking the dandelions when we're getting the tea?
Leave enough for the bees.
Yes. So today we are making what? Dandelion jelly! All right, so this is what we're going to do. We have our sugar out here. We have our dandelion tea, our sugar. We have our sterilized jars that we already did. We have our pectin, and we have lime juice that we're going to add to it. You can use lemon or lime. We don't have lemon. We thought we did, but we don't. So we're going with the lime. Yeah, it's flexible.
You need an acid.
You need an acid. So you take 4 tablespoons of pectin.
Or a box.
or a box, which we also don't have because we buy in bulk.
And half a gram.
And a half a gram.
So I got this on Amazon. It's wicked cheap. It comes in a 3-pack. It's getting harder and harder to find. In fact, most everything that is self-sustaining is getting harder and harder to find. So get it while you can.
Right. So go get it now.
But it's just real.
After you watch this video, go get it. Get on Amazon and then get the pectin.
Links below to the, this exact one.
Exactly. I don't know if I should be holding the camera like up like this, or down like this. I don't know. I don't want like my double chin showing, but I feel like I'm not really sure. Anyways, back to what we're doing.
If you would have been doing it more, then you would have known what to do.
All right. So we went through. We washed all of our ball jars.
Wash your balls.
Wash your balls. And then we sanitize them. You can either do it in like a pot of boiling water or a tea kettle of boiling water, pour it over it.
Or your dishwasher.
Or your dishwasher, which we don't have a dishwasher, so we do it all by hand.
No, she's at work. Just kidding.
Yeah, no dishwasher. We wish.
But you want your jars hot and clean.
Yep, hot
and clean. That is, you will read 1,000 books and this looks very daunting, but it's actually not. Just make sure your stuff is very, very clean and hot.
And hot.
That's all you need. All right, so this recipe, I picked enough. You don't need to pick as much as I did, but I just kept going and picking. So we've got enough here. This is a gallon jar to make, there's some bunnies fighting in the backyard. To make, we've got enough to make our dandelion tea recipe and also a dandelion syrup recipe. So that will be coming soon, so stay tuned. So for this dandelion jelly recipe, I think I said tea. This dandelion jelly recipe, we are going to need 3.5 to 4 cups of dandelion tea. Now you'll see I filmed this part of it, but like she said, I think it's not the stamen, that's the girl parts. There's an official name. You cut off the bottom where the milk part of the stem sits. And then you pour boiling water over your dandelion petals. You do want to rinse them, but you don't want to wash all of that good pollen and goodness off of them. So, like I said in the video previously, or the first part of this video, I guess, if you're picking your dandelions and you leave them out in the bucket while you're doing other things, the bugs will crawl out, so you don't have to worry about that. So to me...
You're still going to want to wash those a little bit, though, because nobody wants bugs in their dandelion tea.
Have you looked at the USDA list lately of acceptable things that are in canned vegetables?
Proceed.
Anyway, so
that's why we can our own vegetables.
What we did is, not yet we didn't, but we've got a garden full of produce that we're going to be in trouble. I picked it, I steeped it, and I let it sit overnight. So this is the next day. It's actually been a few days, but that's okay. Let it sit overnight. You don't have to, but it's just better if you let it sit overnight. And I think the ratio was two cups of loosely, well, I wouldn't say loosely, mediumly packed dandelion to 4 cups of boiling water. Let it sit overnight. This is obviously a bigger jar. So what we're going to do right now is take 4 cups of this tea and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and 1 pouch of the powdered pectin. So I can't use that because that's a dry scoop. Excuse me while I find a wet scoop.
There is a difference between the dry scoops and the wet scoops. Rochelle refuses to use the wet scoops for the wet liquid. Me, on the other hand, I like to use the wet scoops.
A cup measures a cup. What's
Doesn't
the problem?
There's a difference between dry and wet.
No, there's not. A cup is a cup. A cup is a cup and love is love. That's the end. We've got our clean measuring scoop here, and we're going to take, just shake it one more time, even though I just did that, just to make sure. So we want 4 cups of this in our wet scoop. And that is our... Now, when you do cook this, guys, don't be alarmed that it smells like grass, because it does smell like grass.
It's supposed to smell like grass.
It's a very
oh boy, that was a spill.
It's a very grassy smelling, earthy tea, but the jelly itself will taste like honey, so that's exciting. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and 1 pouch of pectin. And there's our tea. Here's our lemon juice.
Or in our case, we're using lime.
2 tablespoons of lime juice and 4 1/2 gram tablespoons of pectin. Do we put that in now?
Yes, and you bring it to a boil. So all this stuff goes in together, and then you bring it to a boil. And you boil it for only about 1 to 2 minutes. So once it's boiling, that's when the magic of the pectin starts, and it starts to thicken up your jelly. Ooh, she's warm. She's warm. She's hot.
It always takes so long to
Well, that's because there's a lot
go,
of
but it's not taking long to go today. So
Okay.
once that comes to a boil, then we add our 4 cups of sugar and return to a boil. This is at a boil now. Ish. It's not a rolling boil, but you don't want to cook it too much. Because once we put the sugar in, then we have to bring it back to a boil. So now that I've stirred it, you can't tell, but it is. We've got some boiling action
yeah.
going on. So we're gonna add the sugar.
Oop. I steamed up the screen.
I know it's a lot of sugar, but that's what jelly is. The smell of it has changed from grass to honey. Smell it?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
This is an Amish favorite recipe. Now, we use organic cane sugar. You don't have to use that. You can use regular, plain old white sugar. There's nothing wrong with that. It is better to use organic, but you don't have to. The colors change as well.
So you let that boil for...
Bring it back to a boil.
Bring it back to a boil
It's
for...
already getting thicker. Here, will you hold it?
Yeah,
for a second?
1 to 2 minutes. Oh, yeah.
Return to a boil, and once it comes back to a boil, then we boil it for 1 or 2 minutes. And then remove from the heat. Then we're going to pour it in our jars. So we get our jars ready.
Probably going to boil fast with all that sugar in there. This thing over here is spitting at me.
I wish you guys could smell this. It smells just like honey.
I'm surprised it changed it that much. That was
Not quite.
weird.
Yep, went from grass to honey, which is delicious. So we have our jars over here. They're sitting hot. You want to keep them hot. We've got our tools that's been sanitized. They're sitting over here as well. This thing has been cleaned and bleached, so it is clean. Got our ladle and our lids in here, sitting hot. We've got our boiling water over here. Full tilt, ready to go. And put our jars in there. I have turned it down, as you can see, almost to low, but it's still going. You'd rather have it going than waiting for it to go. So put that in your philosophy book. Over here we've got our, I call it my grandma's green fluff, or green stuff. Shannon calls it what?
Green whoopie.
Green whoopie. It is a family tradition in my family, also in Shannon's, our grandmother's. Was it your grandma?
Yeah.
Your grandma too? Our grandmothers made it, and just about every family function I had it. It was like her, you know, when you had grandma's green stuff, or green fluff, or whatever. I have to remember what she called it. Spaghetti and homemade ranch. It was a good night.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, we're boiling.
We're boiling.
I'm going to turn it down so we don't boil over. Stirring that bad boy. So we're going to boil this for 1 to 2 minutes. Now when you water bath, you want to put something on the bottom of that so your jars aren't knocking around. Well, it doesn't have to be a water bath thing. It can be anything that can go in the bottom of that pot. We are using so I think it's for our Instapot roaster thing on the bottom. Another trick you can do is you can take these rings, tie them together in a circular pattern, and put that on the bottom if you have extra rings. You just want to put something down there so your things aren't knocking around. You don't want them breaking. Now once we pour them in here, they are going to be in the water bath for 10 minutes. Once it comes back to a full boil, if we happen to lose a full boil while we're putting our jars in there, we have to bring it back and start the timer over again. They have to be at a full boil, completely covered for 10 minutes, depending on your altitude. So you need to go your altitude and figure out whether or not you need more time. We don't, oddly enough. Then we take them out. Nope, then we turn off the heat. I have to read my recipe. I don't know. In any case, you want to put them somewhere where they can be undisturbed for 24 hours to see if your lid's set or not.
Yeah, put it on your counter and see if your lid's hot.
That is our timer. There she is. Look at that. Deliciousness. It's going to be hard not to make a mess, but we're going to try.
Okay.
Man, that smells just like honey. That is hot. Okay.
So in this recipe, we need how much headspace?
It says 1/4 of an inch, which makes me nervous.
Okay.
But
perfect. That's pretty.
I mean, it would still require more, but
It does actually, but
let's see. It's starting to set already.
that's the hard part about this is not spooling it and getting it.
Going fast. It's a really pretty amber color. Ooh. Ooh. Don't burn yourself.
Yeah, it's too hot to move like that. Oh, that's 1/4 of an inch right there.
Oops. There. It feels and smells and looks just like we're bottling honey right now.
Oh, that was
That's a good pour,
that was a good pour.
If you have any left over, you can just put it in a regular jar and eat it, but you have to eat it right away. You can't let it sit. If you just have a little bit, you want to put it on toast. Water bath canning is just for preservation, but you don't want to put it in the fridge and forget about it and then use it. You have to use it right away. Looks like we are right on the money here. And it's getting hard. And then you take your other tool, which is not here, but you want to take something, chopsticks or whatever, and you want to run
Spatula.
your thing around through there. Make sure there's no air bubble. It's setting already. Jesus.
There's no air bubbles. You would be able to see them, I would think. You do want to show them the headspace, though, how you measure that.
So this tool right here has actually got labeled. So we've got 1 inch, 3/4, 1/2, 1/4. And what you do is you put your ladder on the edge of your jar. So actually we've got a little more room. As you can see, the bottom of this on this ladder is 1/4 of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
So because
We could have filled ours up a little bit more.
Filled, but when you call for 1 inch, you would put this in the jar, and that would be your inch, which is just about the bottom of the ring there.
Yeah.
But we're at 1/4, so yeah, that's just set. Okay, then we want to wipe off our rims. Remember, these are liquid fire hot, so don't do what I just did.
Okay.
You don't want to touch. That's where the goodness happens. So you do not want to touch your lid as it goes on. You can touch the top.
You sure can.
You don't want to touch the bottom. Okay, now these you can touch. It's okay, just make sure your hands are clean. You want to put them on, crank it down as hard as you can. You're supposed to say, no, that's not right.
No, that's not right.
How tight?
Just regular tight. Just
Finger tight.
finger tight.
You don't want to crank it down.
No.
These lids aren't staying on. These lids are staying on. The bands are not.
No, you just put,
So
yeah,
you don't have
just,
to crank
you're just
it.
pretty much using this band right now to hold that seal in place for when you can, so it can make a thing, or make a seal. That's what they're there for. It's just to hold that in place for now.
Finger tight. Okay. Now, the dangerous part. I hate this part. If anybody tells you that this part is fun, they're lying. This whole thing makes me nervous. You know it. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, so now we've got our boiling water. Take off our lid. We've got this fun tool that we were using backwards the first time we used it, and I almost did it again.
No, that's the right way.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I was going to show them which way we were doing it backwards. So this goes on there like that. Plug it in. See how we lost our boil?
It's also on very low right now because
Now you'll see a few bubbles, and that's fine. That's just the jar going in and stuff. But if you're seeing a lot of bubbles coming from something you just put in there, that's bad. That means your water is going into your stuff and you've just ruined it. You don't want them touching. You also want to put them in there in a way that makes sense, not like I just did. And I did not put vinegar in the water. I should have done that.
should I do it now? Is it white vinegar?
Yeah.
What's the vinegar for?
It helps the jars come out clean.
That was a little aggressive with the vinegar.
I'm making barbecue sauce now.
Helps for hard water stains, right? And
Yeah.
help the... I mean, it's not imperative by any means.
No, you don't have to do it. But you'll get some sediment and some nasty looking junk.
Yeah, especially us being out on a well. We have our water's a little bit harder.
Try not to let them touch each other or the side of the pot.
Nice. Good job.
Now it smells like vinegar.
Vinegar water.
Water in here.
Okay,
So
bring it back up.
we're going to put the heat up again. You do want to put the top on, but we don't want to start a timer until it starts boiling. So once it starts to boil, we'll put the top on.
It's not going to take very long, I don't think.
Nope, she's pretty hot, and the jars are hot, and your jelly's hot, so that's why you want to...
Everything's hot.
Everything's hot.
Even Rochelle.
Even you.
Hello, dandelion jellies.
I'm excited. Are you excited?
Super
You
excited.
know what we need to do now? Make some bread.
Oh, yes. Bread.
Homemade bread.
Or,
and dandelion jelly.
we just saw that recipe for the English muffin bread. That would be really good too.
That'd be amazing.
Or you know what this would be really good on too? It might be really good in chia pudding. Don't put any water in that yet because I'm going to want to try it. We haven't tried it yet. Just a little snip. I'm going to get a little spoon, I guess. And we got to see what it tastes like, right?
We got syrup.
You try it first. You try it first.
I'm just kidding.
I was like, oh
It's
no.
so good.
Oh my god, I was so worried. I was like, what the hell?
It tastes just like honey. Holy crap. It's weird because it tastes like honey, but it's got the texture of jelly. So your brain is like, this is gross, but it's not.
Okay, let me see.
Put this in your mouth.
Okay.
Right?
Good.
Isn't that weird?
Very weird.
How does that happen? Science!
It would be really good on
Those extra bug parts really make it delish.
yes. That is so good.
So dandelion is one of those medicinal plants that are absolutely stunning and amazing, but they can interfere with some medications. Sort of like grapefruit does the same thing. Grapefruit will enhance some medications. Dandelion, depending on who you are, may affect your medication. So you need to call your doctor and see if dandelions will affect you and your medications. Otherwise, you need to make this stuff because it's delicious.
So good. So good. I can't believe how good it is.
Oh my God, I know.
It's really good. Listen,
It's just like honey. Tastes just, they're not kidding. They're not like, sometimes you read stuff and you're like, yeah, okay, tastes like honey. My foot, like the marigold, tastes like this. And it said you can make the reduced sugar version. They reduced it by half a cup.
So good.
It's very deep.
I don't know if I would use the word deep for it, but I feel it's delicious.
Got a lot of depth.
I feel like it would be delicious on a biscuit.
It would be delicious on a fucking biscuit.
You know,
oh my god.
right?
A hot fresh biscuit with
Yeah.
some dandelion jelly.
Mm.
We should sell it. There's a lot of dandelion picking. Probably not, huh? Put the top on. I don't know.
Well, if we put the top on it, we'll... Oh, yeah. All right, let's start it. Yeah, put the top on, and she's going to become a raging boil. Okay. Timer. 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. There's a monster in there. Roar. No, just kidding. Timer went off. We're done.
Okay, hold on a second. I got to get the top off for you.
This is going to be amazing. If it tastes anything like the bowl did.
Oh, the bowl is so good.
That's pretty.
Very pretty.
So we're going to leave it there for 24 hours. Do not touch. The fun part is, pretty soon you're going to be hearing pop, 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 pop. And those are the lids popping. But you leave your rings on until that happens. You don't want to touch them. Set it and forget it.
Don't fool around with
Don't
it.
fool around with it. No tomfoolery. Plus it's hot, so put it somewhere that your pets and your kids can't.
Right. Grab a hold of or fall or pull off the counter.
You know how he gets. So as you can see, it makes about 6 pints of delicious honey jelly. It's dandelion jelly, but it tastes like honey. Just weird for a yard. Yard jelly tastes like honey. That's it. There they are. Look at that golden, beautiful deliciousness that is made from yards. Ooh, ooh, ooh! There was 2. You heard it live. Pop, pop, pop.
How exciting. Overachievers. Popping right off the bat.
Happened.
Success.
Success. So we, again, are going to leave that for 24 hours. After 24 hours, we are going to remove these rings. These rings are usable. The tops are not. You do not want to put this on your shelf with the ring on, just in case that didn't seal, because that is how you get botulism. So take your rings off after 24 hours. Don't touch them. Take your rings off. Put them up. If it makes it that far, you might just eat them all. I don't know. But if you get a chance, do try to make this jelly. It's a great thing for kids to do. Go out, pick the flowers, save some for the bees, cut off their butts, the plants, not the bees. So it's a great project for the family. It's a great way to use what's in your yard, especially for springtime. And the taste will absolutely surprise you. So those dandelions are not bad weeds. In fact, you want to eat your weeds. So get out there, get it done, and stay tuned for a recipe.
Oh, there's another one.
Stay tuned. That's why I'm kind of babbling. I was hoping we got another one. Stay tuned for our dandelion simple syrup recipe, which you can put in your teas. You can put it over ice cream. You can put it on your biscuits, just like your jam. You can put it
in your coffee,
in your
iced
coffee. You can put it on. You can take a glass of water, put the syrup in it, stir it up. Now you have dandelion tea again, but it's sweet and it doesn't taste so gross because it doesn't actually taste the best, the unrefined version. So anyway, stay tuned for that, and we will see you guys soon.